I have been working in the software industry for about 21 years. I jokingly call it as half marathon in software engineering. Also, remember with connections and networking, what happens is you may not get the interview, but you will talk to the hiring manager because there is a connection. That's my first advice to new grads. Get your portfolio before you finish the course.
In terms of for one of the points that you mentioned, the last part, going back to making yourself qualified for the role, we talked about it in the first chapter. In this part, for the different things that you mentioned, I want to also ask about, do you have some stat in mind? Because you mentioned over 200 people might apply for a job in engineering or in other fields. So can you compare these two with some numbers based on your own experience? Like, how is the success rate for the cold apply and how is the success rate for with connections?
Cold apply, at least what I've seen is 2%, whereas through referrals could be up to 30%.
I had the similar experience independently. I have shared a post 1 year ago, similar numbers I have seen through my 3 times that I have applied for more than 100 jobs, similar numbers.
Also, remember with connections and networking, what happens is you may not get the interview, but you will talk to the hiring manager because there is a connection. You will talk to the hiring team. That is extremely valuable. You got golden nuggets of wisdom from them. What do they look for in senior engineer? What is the interview loop like? Because you are going through a friend who knows that person, you get some information on what is the loop like, what is the gap in your resume. All these are great information through referrals, by the way. Even though you may not get the interview, but some people are willing to talk to you and give some inputs on what is going on with your resume and profile. That's of extreme value.
Is there any unconventional wisdom or strategy that you have seen with your clients, with the people that you talk, that puts them ahead of their game?
There's one I have seen this year. It was in May, 2 or 3 months ago. One product manager was struggling even after 90 days. He was my client. He did something interesting. He went back to some of his old contacts, like they were his VP of product. He was a PM. Then he asked for referrals from them, saying, I know you don't have any openings, but can you help me find out people who might be hiring? That is one thing he did. The second thing is, wherever he found opening, he reached out to the VP of product, which is the head of products, directly saying, he bypassed everybody. He said, I have a relevant background here, I have a strong background, and I can come solve problems for your company. Interestingly, some people responded. In fact, one of the VP of product responded. He interviewed there and he got the job. He accepted the offer in New Jersey. This is the first time I saw in the last 18 months somebody trying this. I like it. I like the approach because he bypassed everybody. He went straight to the VP of products. I think some people have the confidence, and he had a good resume, by the way. 12 years of experience, all focused on that area of legal technology. He knew what he was talking about. He was a senior PM earlier. He knew the company and he read about them. He put a nice message saying, here is the problem you might have. I've got a lot of background in this. I can come help you. That was a nice pitch for the VP of product. So that could be an unconventional way. If you're willing to do it, go all the way to director of engineering. Why not? Give it a try.
It's very interesting that you mentioned this one. I recently watched a podcast. There's, I think, Colin and Samir podcast. There was the guest is basically, he has published a book which is called Third Door, which is exactly what you mentioned. You mentioned 2-3 examples for the higher level, manager level, that they're doing this unconventional wisdom and persistence and confidence to go with VP. Also shares the same philosophy and the same basically with unconventional wisdom, which is for junior people. Some of the examples was he was out 18 years old or 19 years old, and what he's recommending, which is I think a great book, by the way. 99% of the people are in the line. Try to find the third door. So what are your thoughts about applying the thing that you mentioned for a new grad as well?
Absolutely, this can be done. As I said earlier, your portfolio matters. Let's take the same example of my nephew in Ireland. If he does whatever he's planning to do, meaning have a good portfolio, have a lot of experience, personal experience in building these things, data engineering pipelines, dashboards, go a little deeper on ML engineering and do some analysis, whatever he wants to do, whether it is ML engineering or visualization or data science, if he can put a portfolio and then go to somebody who is a decision maker, it can be director, VP or anybody, and say, hey, I know your challenge is this, your company. Look what I have done with similar data set. I want you to take a look and see how I can help your company. If you do the groundwork and if you are competent and then confident to do this, this will work. But this may backfire if you don't have the competence. If you don't have a portfolio, then you are fluffing. People will not even respond to your message. So this sort of, there is a thin line between confidence and arrogance. You can have confidence based on whatever you have done. Your work should speak for your confidence. If you have empty words, no action or no project to back up that confidence, they may ignore you, which may hurt you actually. So be careful with this approach. Have your ducks in the row. Have a nice portfolio. You should be able to stand up and talk about your work proudly and confidently. If you can, go for this unconventional approach. You will get success for sure because you have done the work. You are unique, you have done the work, you have something to show.
Awesome. I like it. Yeah, there is a difference between the confidence and competence and the arrogance, like the empty, as you mentioned, fluffing and empty words without like the some evidences that backs you with those evidences will backfire for sure. Thank you. Let's move on to the if there is other strategies in the second chapter.
Yeah. I'm going to mention a couple of more ideas. One is this is something I've noticed, Masood. People don't know how to use LinkedIn. One specific example is they can filter out jobs that are created in last 7 days. That's one simple idea. There is no need to apply for jobs that are older than 7 days. It's too many applicants these days. If you really want to apply, look at last 7 days or last 3 days. Like this simple tip, there are many other tips on LinkedIn. How to use LinkedIn well for job search. I've seen many people don't know the basics of LinkedIn. So please learn LinkedIn, learn how to use. It could be a great way to get opportunities. The second idea I also have is you may not have first degree contacts. For example, you may not have anybody at Meta or Google. I have a strategy for second and third degree connection. Now, second and third degree meaning, I don't know anybody at Google, but I know Masood closely, but Masood has a friend in Google or a colleague, ex-colleague or a family member at Google. This is called second degree connection. The second degree connection can also come through your alumni association. Maybe you're from the same country, maybe same background. You did PhD in the same university or find some commonality. Then there is a 3-step framework you can use to approach these people for help. So 3 R's: reason, relevance, and request. Reason is very simply, if you're sending an email through LinkedIn, 1-line message, why are you sending this message? Because so many people are sending messages. People may ignore your direct message on LinkedIn, so reason is really clear, like here is why I am reaching out to you. The relevance is why are you reaching out in terms of this person? Like what's the relevance here? You can say we are from the same university, we have a common connection, or we worked in the same company 5 years ago. Anything you can find out a common connection so they know, oh, okay, so we have some common thread as 2 connections on LinkedIn, which are not yet connected. And then make a specific request. The request could be, can I talk to you for 10 minutes or 20 minutes? Can you make an introduction to somebody who is hiring? Can you make an intro with a recruiter? Can you give me some advice? Anything, but it has to be a specific request. So reason, relevance, and request is a great way to approach people. I have found that roughly 20 to 30% is the response rate. When you approach 10 people, depending on how you approach, how you message your content, you could get up to 20 to 30% people responding to you, either saying, okay, talk to this person, or sorry, I am busy, maybe next week. You will hear something back from them. One last tip is, some people don't log into LinkedIn frequently. So don't feel bad when people don't respond to you. It's nothing against you. They just don't log into LinkedIn frequently. Many of my clients get upset. I sent 20 images this week, nobody responded. Or I sent 20, but only one responded. So don't be disheartened by how many respond. You will get some responses as you polish your message, as you polish your profile, and a clear request you're making. You'll become better and better, like a skill. You're playing the game well now. You know the game, you know the rules, you're playing it well and having fun by them. So that's how you can reach out to second and third degree connection. And you can ask for mentorship, by the way. It's not only on LinkedIn. There is another website called topmate.io. There are many people who are offering free mentor services, 20-minute mentorship, 30-minute mentorship. But after that, you have to pay. After the first 30 minutes, you have to pay. They are not very expensive. They could be $100 for an hour or $150, but they are extremely valuable. They are these big companies, Google, Oracle, Microsoft, all possible tech companies. They love mentoring. They are managers or senior engineers or product managers. Go talk to them and say, hey, my situation is this. This way, you're investing $100 for 30 minutes. You get golden nuggets of wisdom from them. I am here. How do I go there? So they will tell you what got you here, won't get you there. They will tell you the gap. You can fix the gap. So this is a brilliant move, by the way. You have to find out mentors on TopMate. My own clients, there are a few. If you want, you can ping me on LinkedIn later. I can make the introduction. They usually give 30 minutes for free, but beyond that, you have to pay because it's their time. There's valuable time they're investing. Obviously, money is required. Even for coding challenges, I know people who can coach you on DSA interviews, data structures and algorithms. I know people who can help you with structured system design interviews and behavioral interviews. You need to invest with these people so that you can become better with self-investment and practice and getting feedback coached by them. Two more things in this plan is for each group. Let's say you got referrals in some place. Remember, there is the hiring manager call after the recruiter call. Learn to do these things really well. Most people I've seen, they don't know how to handle recruiter calls as well as manager calls. They don't go to the loop at all. They miss out small things. For example, they might be looking for a senior person. Their answers may not showcase that they're senior person. So seniority is known by how you answer questions in the recruiter call or the manager's call. If your answers are not deep, not well thought, they might level you as a junior engineer. That could be the reason why they are not letting you go to the next loop, which is the 4 or 5 round loop. So understand how to interview well with the recruiters as well as hiring managers. Do some mock interviews. That is extremely important. Like number one tip everybody gives is mock interview, because these days they have 30 minutes time. They ask 1 or 2 questions, managers or recruiters. They want to know how do you answer, your communication style, the articulation, how much do you know about what you have done, how much awareness you have about the bigger picture, depending on your role. Become aware of what they look for in you, what signals, and play the game well. It's the same story. Know the rules, play the game well. Know the rules of the game, play the game well. With this, I think we can end the plan. We covered prepare, where the outcome was a list of companies, 25 to 30, polished resume, and well done LinkedIn profile. With plan, what you have is you have a list of contacts who are mentoring you. You are talking to recruiters, hiring managers, and you're slowly going towards scheduling the loop, interview loop. That is the outcome of plan phase, where you're planning your schedule. Next month I'm interviewing here. Parallelly, I'm interviewing here so that I can get a better offer. That's all in the planning phase.
Awesome. One of the things that I was telling my friends after the last episode we had together is like one thing I like about Pramoda when he is sharing these ideas and notions is abbreviation. So it's making it very simple for me to memorize. If I want to apply my basically career or communication, and also like share with others. So this like you started by 3R in terms of like the why, reason, basically relevance, how we are connected, showing to the person that you are asking for a favor, what is the relevancy of Masood and that person, and request. And most of the time where it happened for me, like when I was more junior back in the years, is like I hesitate to request in the first email, which is like brings down the success rate. You mentioned about the success rate, 20%, which is great to know. So if you get 80% no response, which is you also talked about don't get discouraged, and that's very important in terms of like connecting back to the being marathon and not sprint in the first chapter that you talked about. So it's very important to take care of our mental health when we get so many rejections. That's normal, and then we can just improve the success rate. Another point that you mentioned I really liked is like some specific resources for mentorship and also mock interviews. It has helped me a lot, especially for the mock interviews, especially for the companies that's very, very competitive like Meta or Google or any company that is very competitive. Without mock interview, it's like a joke, like being able to go to and get offer. So mock interview is really important. It might not be as important in other roles, for example, but for example, big tech, it's very, very important. And yeah, so know the game. And the last piece that you mentioned, know the game to get ahead of the competition. So with that one, let's move to the third part, which is perform.
Yeah. In perform stage, it's all about how you perform in an actual interview, whether it is coding interview or systems design, behavioral interview, or project retrospect if you are a PM, or execution update if you are a TPM, where you can share, here is a big challenge we had in my previous organization. I was the TPM who solved this problem and came to fruition, collaborating with other functions. Depending on what you do, it is the performance that really matters. I have seen many people where they're well prepared, they plan well, but they falter in execution, falter at performing. Some of the basic things like they are nervous, they start sweating, their voice goes down, they lack confidence on the day. This is common. We are all human beings. Things happen. There are some things you can do to take care of that, because if your energy goes down during the interview, if your confidence goes down for 30 minutes, you will not do well. Even though you're prepared well, you will not do well. So mock interviews, all those things help. They give you a lot of reps to prepare and go. Performance is something important. Just like an Olympic sports person, a swimmer or a runner or a marathoner, you need to perform like a sports person. One of the things I tell my clients, and I have used it heavily, is using your body. Emotion follows motion, in the sense, based on how I move my body, my physiology, that affects my psychology. There's a wonderful YouTube video, TED Talk by Amy Cuddy, which is called The Power of Your Body Language. You can see she has got something called as power poses, which means the way you stand decreases your stress level, increases your confidence. Like Superman pose or like this, not during the interview, by the way, before the interview. You cannot go and say, I don't recommend talking to the interview like this, hey, what are you talking about, or like this. That's not what I'm mentioning. So before the interview, you stand in a power pose or stand in a posture where you feel confident, you prepare and go there. The other technique is watch your breath. All of us, when we are stressed, we have shallow breathing pattern. Breath becomes shallow and fast. Simply as the interviewer is asking question, simply take a breath. Don't do anything. Like even Masood, when you were talking, I was taking a deep breath. My belly breath slowly going in and slowly going out. By doing some of these small things, you're always in control of your emotion. your mental state is extremely critical for job interviews. Because once you trip, you start questioning, oh, I did a mistake, I cannot go back and correct it now. When you have a right mental state where you are calm and balanced, even if you do small mistakes here and there, you can come back and correct those mistakes. It's not a big deal. We can do small changes here and there. You can say, hey, I made a mistake earlier. I want to acknowledge. I just am aware now, but I missed that point earlier. That's totally fine. But having that mindset to say, calm down, I am facing this interview with calmness and prepare, that is important. Also remember, nervousness is not fear. Nervousness is like we sweat in our palms, our knees are shivering, or butterflies in our stomach, depending on your background. These things are common. Now, the way you're interpreting them is different. Think of this way. If you get a $1 million lottery, you will have the same feelings, butterflies in your stomach, your palms are sweating and you're excited. But now, your interpretation is that you're excited because of the $1 million. Whereas here, your interpretation is, I am scared because of the job interview. It's the interpretation. It is your story which is causing you to be fearful or scared. Imagine, this is common. This is because you have prepared well, you want to perform and give your best, which is fine, natural. Accept the fact that, okay, I'm getting excited here. This is my excitement flowing to do well in this interview. That rephrase itself, reframing that as an excitement versus fear, is a huge shift in people.